What's up, guys? Gonna make a quick video here on the ever so controversial topic of deloads. It's not even that controversial. If you're a strength athlete, you should be deloading. You should have or have deloads built into your program. Um, Seriously, like deloads are supremely important for the strength athlete for shedding some fatigue and helping you transition to that next training block and keep progressing forward and remain relatively injury free. Three big ways to know when to deload. And now it's going to be a little complicated because these are all reactive methods, but there's something you can do. So first and probably the easiest is just rate your workouts. Like you have your planned structured workouts, right? Rate how you feel at the end of the workout. Not if you feel tired or anything, but just generally, how difficult was the workout to get through? Did it feel better or worse than normal? Give yourself like a 1 to 10 scale, and if it was you felt fucking fantastic, the weights flew, everything was immaculate as a 10. If you barely made through it and feel like a piece of shit, it's a 0. You should not be failing the workouts. If your programming is on point, you should be able to finish it on a bad day, short of being sick or something like that. So track these. Give yourself numbers. You'll notice at some point that these workouts are when you see a pattern of fives in that area and getting low, make note of that. And if that's something that you notice, and then rest, of course, obviously, you string together a couple fives, maybe a 6, but then a 4, take a deload, all right? But keep track of those, and you'll notice a pattern probably every 4th week, every 6th week, every 8th week, every 3rd week, just depending upon a number of factors. But it seems like every X amount of weeks or every X amount of workouts, I start having these 5-ish, rated workouts. Now after, 6 months to a year of tracking these, well shit, every 4th week I'm having these 5s deload that week. Now you'll go 3 weeks, you won't see a 5, you'll deload, and then you'll come back to it. And then, in theory, you'll never see 5s. I mean, of course, at some point, you're still going to have a bad workout or two here or there. But that's how you can mitigate that. And that's what you want to do. You want to find that pattern. And that's one way of collecting the data to find the pattern. So the reactive can become proactive because now you have data to predict these things. The second would be heart rate variability, taking your resting heart rate every morning when you wake up. Again, you're looking for patterns, and at first it's going to be reactive. So if your resting heart rate every morning is, between 47 and 52 beats per minute, every morning for, 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and then, week 6, you start seeing 60s, 65s, take a deload. Same thing as before, get back to it. Keep tracking, and you'll notice patterns with your heart rate variability, and then you'll be able to predict based on former reactive deloads. You'll know now when to proactively deload, and you shouldn't see those big heart rate jumps very much if all anymore. And then the third and final way is going to be a dynamometer, a grip dynamometer. You can get these on Amazon for $25-$30. This is something I'll maybe measure before your training sessions. It's not going to be fatiguing to do like a max effort grip on a dynamometer. And again, you'll notice patterns. You'll notice if and give yourself a range. If I'm between here and here, generally speaking, and then you start seeing it well below this range for 1 or 2 sessions in a row. Time to deload, same thing, reactive deloads, but then you're gathering data, and after X amount of these reactive deloads, and when, and you can predict it at this point, your deloads can be proactive based on this. You can do all 3 of these things would be even better. So you've really got all kinds of data to collect. You know, you're giving yourself ratings for your own workouts. You're measuring your heart rate every morning, and you're using the grip dynamometer before sessions. And you can take all of this data and really come up with good ways to predict it. And that's just one of the ways. Of course, it can generally go by feel, which is basically the first method I showed you. And you'll know in time as you get in tune with your body, like I generally feel bad after X amount of weeks of training, and you can predictively deload that way. And then a final option I'll give you, and this one's a lot more expensive. That's why I kind of left this for the end. If you have like a Tendo unit and you can something to track barbell velocity, you can use a very submaximal weight and track velocity. My one plate warm-ups on this lift are generally this velocity, and if for whatever reason they're significantly less, then that's probably a good indicator that you've got a lot of fatigue built up. And again, track patterns. You'll reactively deload at first, but as time goes on, the patterns are there and you know when to proactively deload. Peace!